Hey everybody, Brian here. In this video I want to show you this car here. This is a super nice 1.5 turbo and this is a GT version of a Honda Civic. If there's any information you want on this car, please do give me a call, 086 843 1945. This car has just arrived in stock. Well, okay, at the time of doing the video it's just arrived in stock, and we're still waiting to do some service work and get the car ready, but it's a one owner car with a full dealer service history. So for a lot of people, if they're familiar with the videos I've made, they know how much I like these cars. Definitely one of my favorite cars that I've ever sold in all the 20 years I've been selling cars. I just like them because they're quick. They're not super unbelievably fast, but they're like a warm hot hatch. No, warm hot hatch. A warm hatch almost. But they're quick, they're fuel efficient, and this is a GT, so it has a really nice level of spec. And as a 1.5 it gets those nice skirts and exhaust and headlights. But I'm going to start off by going for a quick drive in the car. This example, it drives well, so everything feels like it should in terms of the clutch, the engine, the gearbox, all the kind of feedback that a driver would get. It all feels really nice. Suspension feels quite nice on the road. But what you like about these cars is, well, what I like about these cars is the power. Now, to be honest, the diesel has 300 Newton meters of torque. This one's got 240. So some diesel drivers have driven these and gone, yeah, I thought it was going to be faster. You have to drive the crap out of it. So you have to get it all the way up to the red line. So to really engage with this car, there's plenty of power for normal driving. But if you want to be impressed by the car, you do have to drive it up to the red line. In terms of how it sits on a back road, and especially when you turn on the dynamic suspension, there's less kind of roll and movement in it. So it feels kind of solid and sporty. And then in terms of just accelerating, this is what I like about them. I mean, it's enough power to drive on a car on a normal road in Ireland. I think any more power than 200 horsepower is completely pointless on a main road in Ireland, because you get past the speed limit way too fast. At least with, cars under 200 horsepower, you can, there's still a bit of driving in it where you get some enjoyment and fun. But, on a car like this, they're actually fuel efficient considering the amount of power they have. They drive really well. Anyway, over here, start stop button. Down here, parking sensors front and rear. I can wash the headlights using this. Lane departure warning. So I got two versions of this. Some people might find some of this boring, some people might find it brilliant. So there's one which warns you if you drift out of your lane, but there's also one that's up here. So when I turn it on or off, it's going to try and guide you dead center on the lane. And while we're on the topic, over through here as well, adaptive cruise control, so you can choose how far you want to stay behind the vehicle in front of you. Speed limiter, which is kind of cool, for the reason being it actually respects speed limits. So when driving out the road, there's a little speed limit detector that comes up there. It's not, it's to say that this is the last speed sign that I visibly saw, but you can set it so it slows down when coming into those zones. After that, then you have controls for radio. This over here then is the average speed, fuel efficiency, all that kind of information's in through there. My favorite one then being the boost gauge, which we saw when we were out driving. And one other interesting one on this, one owner from new, this previous owner was averaging about 6.2 litres per 100 kilometres during their ownership, which is not bad for a 180 brake horsepower vehicle. Over here, this is wireless charging, so you can lay your phone down flat and it'll charge. In here then is USB connectors, HDMI if you want to play video, 12 volt outlet, and there's another USB in through here, adjustable armrest, drinks holder that can turn from 1 into 2 drinks holders. Automatic park brake. We saw I pressed when I was going out the road the button which basically activates or deactivates the dynamic suspension, which is stiffening the dampers and basically getting a firmer ride. Different temperatures on each side of the car. Parking sensors front and rear with a camera, but also the camera is interesting because the car will have, and this is related to the reverse camera. So up here, if someone gets on your blind spot, it'll have a blind spot indicator. But it'll also have cross monitor. So basically, when you're reversing out onto a busy road, the car has the ability to look outside the visual field. So there's cars coming from the left and the right. It's actually looking for this car way up here. Let's see, the next time something goes past, we'll get it in a sec. Even before it's kind of got into my face, it's really off in the corner. It's warning me that there's something way off here, not that visible, to look out for, that I mightn't essentially see in the camera. This is also going to have things like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as well, so you can use Google Maps, but it has Garmin navigation as standard as well. Anyway, the pedals then down here, they're nice aluminium pedals. On the sunroof then, you can have a blind that comes across. Still, it's a little bit of light in through, but it makes a darker cabin. Or I can let the sunroof up as a tilt, or I can let it all the way back also as well. The interior on this example is in really nice condition. It has been looked after quite nicely actually, this car. It is in good condition throughout. Height adjustable seat, lumbar support for lower back, adjustable steering wheel that comes in and out and up and down as well. And then over through here, there's also electric lumbar support for the passenger also, which is pretty nice. There's massive safety in these, so side impact protection bars, passenger driver airbag, curtain up high, side impact protection of the seat. Even those headrests are kind of anti-whiplash, so you can bring them forward so your head doesn't go as far backwards in the event of an accident, depending on how you sit in the vehicle. In terms of the inside, so if I was, again, not to give you a big sales pitch, but it is in really nice condition. Speakers here, tweeters here. The front, actually, I meant to say, is the exact same as well. So you get tweeter, you get speaker, you also get another speaker because the GT up here, which you don't normally get on the lower spec models. 3 head restraints, 3 3-point safety belts, armrest in through the centre. This car looks like the rear was almost never used. So I'm not saying the car is absolutely perfect, but it's as good an example, I think, as you're going to find around the place. Height. At 6 foot, this is the height you're going to have. At 6 foot, this is the legroom you're going to have, with kangaroo pockets on either side. But I'd be really happy with the condition that I've seen so far. It's a 2019 car. It would be naive to say that it's absolutely perfect, but it's not bad, I have to say, as they go, in my opinion. Now, a lot of the times with 1.5s, people that buy them tend to look after them because they're into cars, they like their car, so it's very seldom you get them in bad condition. Right, that is a massive load area, light up through here. Really cool parcel shelf. Some people used to think it was flimsy, but when I used to go on holidays with these cars, we have four Honda Civic hatchbacks at home. It allowed me flexibility that I wouldn't get without having to take out the normal parcel shelf. For shutting it down, you grab here or here. Reverse camera is positioned here, and then the outside of the car. Actually, before I do that, 2 things which relate to the key. So you can see basically that the lights are still on, but the lights will turn off once you lock the car. They'll turn back on when it's dark at night time when you unlock the car. And the other cool thing you can do is open up the windows and the wing mirrors using the key, or similarly then you can lock them as well. So it's just handy when you're walking away from a car if you want to make sure everything's up. Just for anyone that's curious, this is keyless entry, so you technically leave that in your pocket the whole time. And then to lock the car or unlock the car, unlock, put your hand in, lock, press the button. Just one other thing I've thought of there, actually. This car is a GT. It's got heated seats for the front 2 passengers. Well, so this car has an exhaust, right? You won't really hear it from here. It's nice. It's like a small hum. So when you start it up, you know, there's a bit of a hum from it, which means you're driving something that's a little bit more special than normal. And then on the outside, you know, it's not super aggressive noise-wise, but just to give someone an idea of what it does sound like. And then that brings me to the outside. So when I saw these cars first, I always thought they were really, really cool looking because they're so aggressive and so different. And I had so many Honda Civics when I was growing up younger, and I always liked the ones that were a little bit quicker, and this was finally something that reminded me of those kind of cars. So things I like on the front would be LED headlights. So LED parker, finally all of that, but the 1.5s come with a nicer LED dips and full lights and LED indicator, and even the fog lights become an LED as well. One point to note, that takes in cold air. And that one is the radar for the lane keep assist and some of the other safety functions. For anyone that's less familiar with 1.5s, 1.5 got an extra skirt on the front to make it a bit more low and aggressive along the side and up along here, and then the same on the rear compared to the normal ones. That's how you always know 1.5 with 180 horsepower. It has the pipes and it has the extra skirting front and rear, and it also doesn't have any chrome around the windows. So because I used to find that with, say, on the 1 litres, I had a lot of low liters that came through that I put black vinyl to cover the chrome, because I just thought this car looked better with 2 colours, and I thought maybe sometimes the chrome confused it in certain specifications in the hatchback. Especially, I think the chrome works well in the saloon, but more so in the hatchback, not so much. Isn't it a cool looking car? Like what I said already, the likes of these cars, what you end up with is a car that's not super expensive to run, it's a little bit quick, it's an economical, it's got a good level of specification, it's been very, very reliable for us so far, and always with kind of Honda Civic. So like we had the VTIs years ago when I was growing up, and then for the last few years maybe the 00s up as far as 2010 you had the Type S's, which are the 1.8s, and then these came out in 17. Again, they're not the Type R versions, but they're the ones that come before. They're the kind of fastest normal car, if that makes sense to you, and there's always a following for them. So I found on resale, we have to give really good money for these cars because there's just a really strong following for them,
and there has been since they came out. And again, it's one of those cars that unfortunately I sound like I'm giving a massive sales pitch, and I don't really mean it. It's just I like them a lot, so that's why it comes across that way. 2 spoilers for aerodynamics, so it pulls air down the back off the rear of the car in an aerodynamic way, which is more fuel efficient. There's nice LED lighting on the rear, and again, front and rear. When one of them cars is behind you or in front of you, it's like nothing else that's around. It's something that's just a little bit different than everyone else's. You know, a lot of the popular cars on the road, Golfs, Focuses, Astras, they're all very good cars. But I think Civic's nice because it's just a little bit different than those. It's cool looking, it's aggressive. Like I was saying, you can put your foot down, but it's still not a terribly hard car to run in terms of fueling and servicing and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, if you want information on the car, 086 843 1945, call, text, WhatsApp, and I'll run through any of the information that you want to know. Hopefully the video has been useful. Hopefully you like the car. Thank you for watching.